All right. Welcome, everyone. Madam City Clerk, are we ready?
We are, Mayor. This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. This regular city council meeting of August 2nd, 2022 is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Please allow me to confirm any speakers that are virtually present and available to speak. Councilwoman Leonard, are you available to hear and speak?
Yes, I am, City Clerk.
Thank you. Public comments may be accepted prior to the meeting utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are also permitted at the appropriate time during the meeting. The mayor will call for such during public comment, and you may participate at that time utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruptions. If you are a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you, Mayor O'Connor.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. I would like to call to order the regular City Council meeting of August 2nd, 2022 at 6:01 p.m. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Leonard.
Present.
Councilman Martinez.
Present.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Present.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
Motion carries.
Let's all stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I believe we do have some additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda.
Yes, thank you. City Attorney Schwabe. We'd like to have the council entertain a motion to amend the agenda under new business, item C. We have a resolution to accompany the item to appoint a new member to serve on the Youth Advisory Board.
I would love to entertain that motion.
Okay, motion to approve as revised.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Valiaron. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
excellent. Let's move on to public comments.
If I may,
Absolutely.
can we also entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Let's absolutely entertain that motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Moving forward to public comments and requests. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium, unmute your device, and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. I'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you've been muted, please press *6. Mayor, we have no comments.
Thank you. Consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a council member requests such, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. If there is no discussion, may I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Valiaron. Roll call. Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you. Moving forward to new business, we've got the first reading of ordinance 2022-08. This is in regards to our non-conforming lots, uses, and structures submitted by P and Z. I believe we have a presentation.
Discussion.
We're good?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
1 sec.
Sorry about that. Good evening. Osnia Leon for the records, planner for the city of Westlake. Ordinance, the ordinance before you is 2022-08. First reading, that with your approval will come back to you as a second reading and adoption. The non-conforming uses are declared by this ordinance to be incompatible with permitted uses in the zoning district involved. A non-conforming use of a structure, a non-conforming use of land, or a non-conforming use of a structure and land in combination should not be extended or enlarged after passage of this ordinance. Non-conforming single-family lots or records. It's any lot of parcel or record prior to adoption of an amendment to the city code of ordinances that does not thereafter meet the requirements of the city's code for lot area or lot width may nevertheless be utilized for single-family residence purposes only, provided that the lot area and lot width are within 2/3 of that required by the terms of this regulation. Non-conforming structures. A lawful structure that exists at the effective of the day of the adoption of the amendment of the city's code by reason of restrictions on area, lot coverage, height, yards, its location on the lot, or other requirements concerning the structure. Such structure may be continued so long as it remains otherwise lawful, subject to the following provisions. No such nonconforming structure may be enlarged or altered in any way, which increases its nonconformity, but any structure or portion hereof may be altered to decrease its nonconformity. The B, such nonconforming structure be destroyed by any means to an extent of more than 50% of its replacement cost at the time of destruction. It shall not be reconstructed except in conformity with the provisions of the current city's code of ordinances. And C, should any such structure be moved for any reason or distance, it shall thereafter conform to the regulations of the zoning district in which it is located after it is moved. Number 4 is putting regulations on non-conforming uses of structure or structures on premises or in combination. If lawful use involving individual structures or structures on premises in combination exist at the effective date of this amendment to the city's code of ordinances that will not thereafter be allowed in the zoning district under the terms of the city's code, the non-conforming use may continue so long as it remains subject to the following provisions. Again, A, no existing structure devoted to the use not permitted in the zoning district in which it is located shall be enlarged, extended, reconstructed, constructed, moved, or structurally altered, except in changing the use of the structure to a use permitted in the zoning district. Except that the city council should have the discretion to allow reasonable alterations for the purpose of allowing the nonconformity used to modernize or redesign when it is deemed that such change are in the interest of the city's health, moral safety, and welfare. Any structure or structure and land in combination, which non-conforming use is superseded by permitted use, shall thereafter conform to the regulations for the zoning district, and the non-conforming use may not be thereafter resumed. And C, when a non-conforming use of a structure or a structure on premises in combination is discontinued or abandoned for 180 calendar days from the time at which the license for said use expires, the structure or structure and premises in combination should not thereafter be used except in conformity with the regulations of the zoning district. D, where non-conforming use status applies to a structure on premises in combination, removal or destruction of the structure shall eliminate the non-conformity status of the land. Destruction of the purposes of this subsection is defined as damage to an extent of more than 50% of the replacement cost at the time of destruction. And E, if a non-conforming structure or portion of a structure containing a non-conforming use becomes physically unsafe or unlawful due to the lack of repairs and maintenance, it is declared by any duly authorized official to be unsafe or unlawful by reason of physical condition. It should not thereafter be restored, repaired, or rebuilt except have to conform with the regulations of the zoning district. Thank you. Any
Thank
questions?
you. Before we open up for questions, can you read by title? Thank you.
Ordinance number 2022-08, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Westlake, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances by creating section blank entitled Non-Conforming Lots, Uses, and Structures, providing for regulations for lots, uses, and structures lawfully existing at the time of an amendment to the city's Code of Ordinances and thereafter deemed non-conforming, providing for codification, providing for a conflicts clause, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Ken, anything to say on this matter?
No, this is, briefly, this is one of those areas that we are trying to tighten up and close up. We only have one area that is potentially non-conforming, which is the packing plant that has shut down and is possibly being used for a new type of business. This is part of what we're wanting to make sure that whatever's coming in there can be there legally in accordance with our code.
Exactly. Do we have any comments or questions from the council?
I do.
No comment.
Seem thorough.
There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2022-08.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilwoman Vayuron, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on, we have before us Resolution 2022-09. This is one I'm excited about. It's granting Florida Public Utilities a non-exclusive franchise. City Attorney, can you read into the record, please?
Sure. Ordinance 2022-09, an ordinance granting to Florida Public Utilities Company, its successors and assigns a non-exclusive franchise for a period of 30 years to sell, distribute, transport, and transmit natural, manufactured, or mixed gas in the city of Westlake, Florida, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said franchise may be exercised, making findings, providing severability, providing an effective date upon final passage.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. This ended up getting buried in the paperwork for last month. We didn't realize it had a resolution and an ordinance. We passed a resolution, so we're pulling back the ordinance to make it all tie together, so we're covered on both ends.
Excellent. Discussion or comments from council? Everybody, no? Okay. There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Motion to pass ordinance 2022-09.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Councilwoman Vayuron. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. We have a vacancy on our Youth and Education Advisory Board. 2 applications were received. Mr. City Manager? Would you like to discuss what this is? It's fine.
Actually, Zoe is better at this because she's been wrapped in the middle of it, not myself.
I mean, I can take care of it. Basically, we have our youth advisory board. I believe there's 5 seats on it.
Correct.
1 seat has opened up, and
Yes.
we're here today to
We
appoint,
had a person resign.
and a person resign, and we're here to appoint the seat. I trust everybody had an opportunity to review the applications for the 2 people. How do you guys want to go about selecting them?
Mayor, pardon me, if I can just for the record clarify that this particular seat is a resignation for Board Member Medvets. She had a remainder of her term, which would end September 2023. So this individual would carry out the rest of that unexpired term.
Excellent, thank you. You guys want to hear my opinion?
Sure.
Or should we, I mean, both applications are fantastic. Oh, I don't have the applications in front of me.
I just wanted to say, I'm happy that both people did apply. I mean, we'd like to have the, community coming on board
Absolutely.
with our committees. Do have to say, that I met, Dr. Kaplan starting last September, and she's been in every single city council meeting. She's always in the room, and she actually came to the last education board meeting. So that shows me that she wants to get involved.
Absolutely.
So that's one good thing. And we've had some nice conversations over the time, but also applaud Ms. Morello.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. So far, we haven't had, well, I'm not gonna say that, but there's been many occasions where we've had the exact amount of applicants as we had seats. And that made the decision very easy to fill these seats because there was no competition. I'm incredibly pleased to see members of the community stepping forward. I, for one, think that Dr. Kaplan would be an absolutely solid choice for the seat among, the incredible resume and being in education for a lifetime. She has what a lot of us lack, and that's the time as being a retired person to really devote energy and care to this committee. That in itself is huge, and I look to one day join that class of people and retire, but it's not happening anytime soon. So that would be my.
I agree with Greg. I think that she show up in the meetings is something very important and good to say about her. So I think I agree with him.
It looks like we have a
Agree with you.
majority. Should we take a formal vote? Can I get a motion?
I guess one more counsel for their position, then I would vote.
No, I'm in agreement.
Then somebody
Love
make
to
a motion.
entertain a
Sure.
motion to fill the vacated seat with Dr. Anita Kaplan.
A motion to approve that.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayuron. Roll call, Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries, but however, before we continue, can we please read into the record, City Attorney?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 2022-21, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, appointing Anita Kaplan to serve on the Education and Youth Advisory Board, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
I made the
He
motion.
Oh, sorry, second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
make it so. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. Very good. All right, we have before us Resolution 2022-19. It is the second addendum to professional service agreements between the City of Westlake and Chenmore and Associates. City Attorney, please read by title.
Resolution number 2022-19, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper City Council member to execute a second addendum to professional services agreement between the City of Westlake and Chenmore and Associates, Inc., providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, when we went out for bids for engineering services in the beginning, there were some time limits on the contracts. Contract's about to expire, so we need to extend the contract with them. They've been performing adequately, actually more than adequately. They've been performing well and got a good team of people working with us.
Yeah, I'm incredibly pleased with what we get from Chenmore and Ms. Dombrowski. I think it's a great move on our part. We have any discussion from the council? Chenmore?
Okay, I make a motion to approve the professional services agreement between the City of Westlake and Chenmore and Associates.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Absolutely, yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Moving forward. Resolution 2022-20. This is the third addendum to the law enforcement service agreement. City Attorney, please read the resolution into record.
Resolution number 2022-20, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper City Council member to execute a third addendum to the law enforcement service agreement between the City of Westlake and Rick L. Bradshaw, Sheriff of Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ken, you want to take this? You want me to take it?
Yeah, well, this is, again, this rolls through. This year, they've held it flat for the last 3 years. There is a 3% increase in this year's. It is in the budget for the 3% increase, plus the additional 2 officers that we'll be adding later in the year.
Excellent.
October 1st, right?
Yes, one October 1st and then one second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again on the record. I'm incredibly pleased with what we get from PBSO and for what we pay for it. The amount of resources we get as a city is pretty limitless, considering. I mean, and if you read everything it includes, it's great. Undercovers, they'll put helicopters in the air. They'll literally give us all the support we need. And we skated without a bump in percentage for several years when everybody around us was not as fortunate.
Mhm.
So this is an easy one for me. I would love to, if there is any more discussion or no more discussion, I'd love to
No more
make a
discussion.
motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Bayron. Roll call. Councilwoman Bayron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Excellent. Thank you. I believe this might be the last item on the agenda. I'm not sure, but it
Heard
is
about that?
discussion regarding a Westlake 5K turkey trot. I believe.
I'll take that one, Mayor.
Brought forward by Councilman Martinez.
Yeah, I've always advocated for a healthy outdoor lifestyle in Westlake, and I would like to propose that we can start a Westlake 5K turkey trot on Thanksgiving morning. I have a vision of it being Thanksgiving morning, having local sponsors, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, prizes, shirts, timing. We can have a kids section that's shorter than a 5K. And we have some cities close to us that are similar in size that we can help model this, that'll help streamline it. So that's something I'd like to get your support on.
So, I mean, while we're,
100%. I
while
love it.
we're,
That'd be
we're,
fun.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm 1000% for it. I think it's important, since we're having a discussion, it's important to talk about how these things will actually come to fruition.
Right.
we as a city don't have a events committee yet. We would need you
Hmm.
to take the reins,
Absolutely.
organize it, program it,
Hmm.
lock it all up and then execute. And if that's something you're willing to take the responsibility
Absolutely.
for. It's that we don't have like support staff yet to get, we can't say, I want a turkey trot, and then
Right.
it makes it happen. So if you're willing to hit the ground running with it.
Yeah, I would love to.
I think it's an incredible idea and
Yeah.
I'll participate. I think it's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, we can help. We
Yeah.
can all, whatever, you're the leader.
Okay.
It's your idea.
Yeah.
We follow, we do, whatever you tell us.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to make it
Well,
happen.
I already told them that they can do it too. I am willing to help.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't think we need this is just a
No,
consensus.
Consensus item, Mr. Martinez will start working on it. We'll provide what support we can, any ideas or anything for where to contact people, things like that. We'll work, Zoe and myself will work with them and go from there.
I think it's an incredible idea. Maybe reach out to our two superstars from our Fourth Fest and see if they'd like to get involved, Megan and Liz.
Great.
Once we do form an actual events committee, I have no doubt in my mind they'll be on it. So maybe unofficially ad hoc as resident helpers, they might be willing to, this might be up their alley.
Okay.
And I'm sure Zoe can put you in touch with them. And yeah, hit the ground running with it. I love the
Awesome.
idea.
I'm looking forward to
I
it.
can't wait.
So this is a question I had, like I actually, this hit the ground on what I wanted to ask today. We used to have a lot of events when we didn't have an association. We used to have events, we used to have people singing in the amphitheater.
No, those were all by the Master Association.
Yeah.
Everyone.
They were all
I know.
mementos.
I know, but my question is, can we have that as a city again? Like, can we put this together in a budget?
So this, we did add some money into the budget for events.
Yeah.
But in terms of using the amphitheater, that's private property,
Okay,
owned and operated by Mintos HOA.
okay,
And they have a whole separate budget that our HOA dues pay for. So, and there's a lifestyle coordinator, and that's the person who I think we should lobby to get a lot of those types because they've had success in the past.
yeah.
But we do have some room in our budget for
Like I said,
some city
What-
events.
yeah, because like there's other cities that they have something going on, let's say every Thursday, they have food trucks and they have these events where they have the fruits and they sell the
Yeah,
stuff,
Green
you know,
market. So
free market.
I'm already unofficially I guess we'll talk about it, planning our next smaller city event, which will be a food truck invasion.
Okay.
The way that I have it kind of coordinated, it's gonna pay for itself. There should be zero impact to the budget. Basically, we had such great success with Fourth Fest
Exactly.
that I'm getting calls once a week from the food trucks. When can we come back? When can we come back? When can we come back? So by charging them a small fee
Yeah,
to come, it'll pay for the tents and the kid stuff and this and that. If done properly, it should be zero impact to the budget. I think we need to focus on stuff like that right now. 'cause we-
exactly,
until we can really stand on our own 2 feet as a city,
exactly.
we need to kind of take it easy budget wise.
Yeah,
But I love, if we can plan events, I don't think a turkey chop will be a big cost, like things like that.
The only
things like
thing from
food
the city
trucks,
would be the space to run.
Right.
Wouldn't be much.
And any support, if you need
First aid.
If you need fire out there or
It would be-
PXO,
yeah.
At the end or something.
I don't think it'll be an issue whatsoever, but things like that I think are great, for now. But I would lobby the lifestyle coordinator from Minto. They have a nice budget specifically for great events.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
They've been doing some stuff.
what I suggest is partially because of the location being the master HOA, what I would suggest is that the city possibly partner with the HOA working on some advertising, some other things, but the HOA carrying the load and carrying the water with it, but the city co-sponsoring it with some assistance. That way it's not a burden on the city. It's not a total burden on the HOA at the same time, and they can be running it with our support, which also puts it easier through the special events permitting process
Perfect.
if we're co-sponsoring.
So, yeah, maybe we start working directly with the lifestyle coordinators, see what we can do to assist them, bringing more exciting things to the city.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
every city, every nice city, we are a very nice city. And every nice city has events every month,
Yeah.
something going on. It will be so nice.
Yeah, it's-
Every,
Sometimes it's easy to blur those lines between HOA and
Yep.
and city and who's responsible for what, but at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We just want fun stuff for
Exactly.
all of our residents, so.
yeah,
Mr. Mayor, one other point. We probably need a consensus from the council to form another ad hoc, committee to
Turkey
work
Trot
with.
Specifically,
yes, for the turkey trot.
okay.
Since we had it for the 4th, as it was an ad hoc just to work with a couple of, the mayor and a couple of us.
I mean,
Just
I think
set
that's-
it up and say it's okay to
Sure.
have an ad hoc committee to work with Councilman
I think
Martinez
it's a
to
great
get that
idea.
going.
There's been a smaller version of the turkey trot basically every year, just
Yeah,
You did it.
I did do it.
organized. So now we'll have an an ad hoc committee that checks all the, housekeeping, legal
Okay,
boxes. But this way, if you want to some residents to apply. And
yeah, I can reach out to those that helped organize the one that we did last year.
have them, send an email to join the committee. And so do we have consensus? Ad hoc committee?
Good, yes.
Make it so? All right. Turkey Trot Committee.
Get them together.
While we're on topic, I've been talking about this for almost a year now. How about a more broader, even if we want to keep it ad hoc, but just a special events committee? Does it have to be so specific?
I'm going to defer to legal on that, not put them on the spot tonight, but I think we need to work with DJ's firm in the fact that when you have a standing committee, it falls into the category of sunshine and creates a whole bunch of meeting requirements, et cetera, et cetera. If you utilize, my understanding is if you're utilizing it as an ad hoc, it's a temporary thing. It's a few volunteers. They work with a specific council person and they get the things done. It's not as complicated and rigid that we have to go through. So it's potentially more effective to appoint an ad hoc committee for the specific events.
Okay.
Not naming them in person, but say, Mr. Martinez, go get 2 or 3 people, put them
Right.
together, put your team together, go make it happen.
So that being said, do we need consensus to form a Fourth Fest ad hoc committee, since I want to start working on next year now? Do we need a new committee since it's a temporary? Does my old committees continue? And at what point is it no longer temporary?
That's a good question. Get back to you.
I think that DJ and Jake would welcome the opportunity to look at the difference between ad hoc and standing, and perhaps we could include it as an agenda item for the next meeting to perhaps get consensus and better understand the legality of the 2 different committees.
And part of the attorney's realm, my realm, and Zoe's realm is how do we accomplish things in a streamlined fashion,
Of course.
but yet within the parameters of the applicable statutes to keep us all out of trouble, but at the same time, not bog us down to where we can't get anything done.
Right.
And there's a fine line there to work through. And so we may have to do one way, another one a different way. But the object is, as innovative government, is how do we make it happen in a time frame that's reasonable
Of course.
without all the extra complications that occasionally happen?
Okay, so we have consensus for the Turkey Trot Committee.
Got it.
Let's call it that, Turkey Trot Committee. And we'll add committees as an agenda item for maybe the next meeting.
Yeah.
And we have between now and then to explore that,
Yeah,
and figure out the best
September
way to
meeting.
do it. Very good.
Yeah, because we have time.
November will be good before we know.
You're on the clock right now.
You can start planning.
I'm gonna start running tomorrow to get it going.
Excellent.
Not physically.
All right. Council comments. Councilwoman Leonard, you still on?
I am, Mr. Mayor, and fellow council members. This is Charlotte Leonard, Councilwoman seat 3. I just wanted to make a comment that I am not allowed to vote, so I wanted to just say that I agree that Dr. Kaplan will be an asset to our Youth Advisory Board. So I think we did a great job in nominating her. Secondly, I love the idea of the turkey trot. I was so excited to see that on the agenda, so I'll start practicing my 5K now. And the other thing I wanted to just say is I am in agreement with the ad hoc committee for the turkey trot. So that is all I have, Mr. Mayor, and thank you. And that is it.
Thank you so kindly. Councilman Martinez.
Nothing besides thank you for the support for the 5K. I'm looking forward to it.
100%.
Hope to see you guys there.
Could use the 5K myself. Ready to go. Councilwoman Valleron.
No comments.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
I do. On July 14th, the Education Youth Advisory Board met here in this location for a reorganizational meeting to select their new leadership. We also discussed potential initiatives such as community tutors within the community to help tutoring initiatives with the students here. A community library, kind of like a bring a book, take a book. We're thinking about ideas for that. That's going to come back at our next meeting. Partnering with businesses, potential student of the month, teachers of the month, back to school bash, which would be another type of thing that we can do as that committee, and having a booth at the Fourth Fest.
Nice.
The board decided to continue its quarterly meetings or as needed if we need to do something earlier on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. at this location. And our next meeting, I believe, is August 25th, Zoe. Thursday at 6:30 will be our next meeting to discuss like a back to school type of initiative that we can do at the Adventure Park.
Very cool. Now that we're shaking up that committee a little bit, what are your thoughts on the new committees we've had? They've had staggered terms. So I don't know what the terms are now. Are they 4-year?
Some are, we have a couple that are different dates than others.
It's generally a 3-year term. However, the alternate is what's, I believe, a 2-year term. So they do run
I
together.
would love, I mean, maybe this is just something to think about for all committees moving forward, but I would love to stagger the terms. This way you're
Okay.
not cycling everybody out in one shot, let some people staying on, new bloods coming in,
Right.
so on and so forth. And then I think something we initially missed that we picked up in future committees was absences.
Yes.
You know, if we on this dais miss, I think it's 3 meetings in a row, we're done.
Zoe and I did.
There needs to
discuss
be
that.
something similar for these committees. I understand it's been a little bit of an issue in the past, so they should at the very least be held to the same standard as us.
Right.
So I don't know if that needs to be a consensus thing or an agenda item or what, but I think we need to make it happen because
Okay.
it'll keep people accountable.
I think the staff and the attorney will understand where you're going with it. We'll make sure that as we go forward, we'll either modify the existing, we'll bring a resolution or whatever's necessary to modify the existings for the attendance, as well as start doing the staggering on all committees.
Perfect. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think good.
All right.
That's it for me.
Anything else, Vice Mayor? I don't have much. I want to thank all my colleagues on the dais for their leadership. I think these meetings are, we've really found our groove, so to speak. We're clicking pretty well up here and we're leading this city in the right direction and making great things happen. And I love the turkey trot idea, and I think it's great.
It's a great idea.
I didn't skip anybody, did I?
Nope.
No,
Okay. Report staff by fire rescue. I don't see fire rescue in the building. Except for Mr. Christmas, but, all right. We'll skip the fire rescue report. Does PBSO wanna? I have a couple questions.
Lieutenant Robert DiMarzo, Executive Officer for District 15, 17, 18.
Thanks,
Go ahead, Mayor.
Thanks, LT. Looks like we had almost 3,000 calls for service. 90% of them being self-initiated. Couple questions would be, one, I could be wrong, but that seemed unusually high. For me, I don't have any of the past ones in front of me. And then maybe you can enlighten us on like, what's a self-initiated call?
Oh, okay. So self-initiated is when a deputy actually initiates the call. They're not dispatched to it. So they'll do a business check at 7-Eleven or City Hall here, and they self-initiate that call on their computer or through dispatch.
That's what.
Yeah, so self-initiated is when dispatch does not dispatch them. As far as like if it's high, we really we really push them to be proactive out here. You guys are kind of out here on your own, and there's one deputy right now per shift. So we want to make sure that they're doing as much business check as possible, and keeping up with traffic, because more visibility will keep crimes down, obviously. So, but I haven't compared. I can go back and give you the report for June, but
That's okay. It's not.
it seems pretty consistent though. I think.
I
Pretty
mean,
sure.
If they're initiated by the deputy, I think that's great. There should be, the higher the number is, the better. In
Yeah.
that case. So if it is high, that's fantastic. I think it's important to mention you guys are writing about 3 times the amount of warnings that you are citations. Which, you're looking out for our citizens and trying to get them to stop the
Right.
behavior rather than just hammer them. So it's,
And that's one thing we push is educating rather than,
yeah.
you don't want to hammer, you don't want to give too many citations, but written warnings are just as effective too as well.
Agreed.
So,
And then this is a very, very clean crime report that there's nothing on here with the exception, I hate to say the usual, but there's some construction issues.
yeah, it seems like the trend is it could just be workers passing through and things go missing. They get classified as burglaries to construction sites. A lot of times there's not any forced entries or anything. It's just that they're open sites. So that's why they get classified that, because it is a construction site. It could just be thefts, but that is the trend, it seems like, until that's the one thing that I've always seen since I started here is that's always been on the top for you is the
Right.
construction thefts or burglaries.
Would you say there's been some decline in the construction?
I've seen it like go like that. I've seen it go in waves. I've seen like 3 a month and I've seen 0. But
I mean, 1 is too many, but I guess you
Yeah.
could say that 3 is
yeah,
reasonable considering the amount of construction. I mean, it's not reasonable, don't get me wrong. 1 is too many, but considering all the construction in our city, I think you guys are doing. a pretty
knock on
incredible
wood.
job. Yeah.
Knock on wood, there hasn't been any rashes. So I think for the vandalisms, I believe they got some suspects for that.
It's spray paint.
That was the spray
Yeah,
paint
X's or
stuff,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was some kid stuff going on.
I just want to thank you for all the support and everything you guys do for us and keeping us safe and
Thank you.
you guys
We,
do an
uh,
incredible job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Does
Yeah,
anybody
anything
have
else?
anything for LT?
I do not.
No.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
No,
All right.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
City Attorney?
Just want to thank you, Mayor O'Connor and City Manager, council members. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We love having you here.
Another valuable team member of the group.
Absolutely. Mr. City Manager?
A couple
What do we
things.
got?
A couple things, Mr. Mayor and Council. One of them is the PBSO had contacted us a couple of years ago regarding license plate reader cameras. At that time, the cost was fairly exorbitant, 150K plus. They came back to us, as you know, specifically, a couple months ago. They have some surplus equipment with the addition of about $27,000 from the city. We can have the license plate readers on the two signs on the south entrance and on the north entrance, so that every tag coming in and out of Westlake's boundaries is picked up on the LPRs for, and what they do with them, having been down to their center, is they can basically track the bad guy when he goes through every city, and they know where he's going or where he came from, so that if something does occur between a time frame, they can see when the car came in, when the car went out. A whole lot easier to say, oh, it's Joe or Fred or Tom, he's back. And yeah, we know where he is, we know where to go get him. And they can, solve the crime a lot faster. Even those that we've had, some where people have come in and just been around cars and looking and stuff in the middle of the night. A lot of those are people that are known to PBSO, that they know come up from Broward or Dade or stuff, so they track them through. So this would allow us to do a better job with that. As we go forward, when we have other connections, like 60th Street on both sides and potentially on 140th, every main entrance, we will eventually put LPRs on, so we know who's coming in and out when of the city. Second thing is, in our joint agreement with Cimarron Improvement District, we do need to have a joint meeting once a year. Proposing, I checked with the SID board, I'm proposing that Tuesday, August 23rd, if that works for the council.
I'm good.
And,
Mr. City Manager, would that be at 6 p.m.? Sorry.
hopefully the SID board would like to be able to do it earlier, like 5, if we could do it.
Okay, thank you.
Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday at 5 on the 23rd.
Let's see.
I'm good.
And that would be here, Ken?
Yeah, it would be here. Both boards will meet here as a workshop. And it's basically to go over, the interlocal agreement is that the boards meet together to look at what's coming up in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. So that collectively, because all the infrastructure is SID, policy and stuff on a lot of things is the city. If you're going to ask for something that's SID, we need to be able to plan for it accordingly. So trying to tie the two together as also a meet and greet and understanding each other's vision of what's going on and how we can accomplish it together.
I'm okay with that date.
I'm good.
Is 5 o'clock okay?
I'm good.
That's fine with
Yeah.
me.
All right. Tuesday, the 23rd at 5. I'll get it advertised and we'll move forward from there.
Perfect.
Oh, almost couldn't read my own notes. The revisions to the budget that were discussed last week should be completed out to you by the end of this week. Did a few adjustments and modifications so that you can review them, so that if you have any questions, you give me a call or contact Steve Fowler, and then we can have those ironed out prior to the council meeting in September. And then Councilman Valeron forgot something, but she picked up former vice mayor's thing with book bags. Book bags are in. She contacted Minto and they contributed. She's been coordinating with the school to get the book bags in, so she'll be speaking to the students and going forward with our book bag from Minto/city to the students.
Very cool.
And the other item, as I put in my agenda, is that we did purchase the 600 books from the Daughters of the American Revolution that'll go out to all the incoming ninth graders in the coming year. That's it.
Can I get one of those books?
I had got extra for you all as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Let's move forward to public comments. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you're called to speak, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Prior to addressing the council, do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, please unmute your device. If you've been muted, please press *6. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand or unmute your device, state your name and your address. You'll have 3 minutes. I see no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. That being said, and there being no further business, I will adjourn at 6:50 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Charlotte.
Good night.